So if you guys remember, back on June 9th, they had that big event in Washington, D.C. with David Grusch. This was led by director James Fox. He had David Grusch there. There were members of Congress there. It was a big deal event. And there were some viral clips that came from that. But anyway, a couple days later, like maybe, 3 or 4 days later, he was on Redacted. You can check it out on YouTube. And I'm talking about James Fox. James Fox said that about 2 weeks prior to this event, that all these guys were together. I think it was, James and David Grusch, members of Congress, and he spoke about some stuff that left everybody slack-jawed. I mean, that was the comment. You might remember that. It took the air out of everyone's lungs. People were speechless, he said, and they were slack-jawed. Now, he said this in the Redacted episode, I think it was, that he thought he was going to talk about this at that June 9th presser event. He did not. But then he asked David Grusch, apparently, that same day they recorded that Redacted episode, hey, can I, talk about what you said? And David Grusch said, no, but I will talk about this to the American public very soon, okay? That was the words, very soon. Now, since then, in the UAP world, it moves lightning speed. There's always something new to talk about. It seemed like so many people forgot about that. Like nobody else is talking about it, but I didn't forget about it. And I like to hold people, their feet to the fire. I don't just want them to get away with saying something and then, never follow up on that. So I've been trying to reach out to James Fox specifically a number of times because I just want him to comment on that. Can we get an update? It's now it's August 1st, but a few days ago when he replied to me, as you see here, it's been over a month. What does very soon mean? So there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm starting to put a lot more pieces together. I'll have to talk about that in the future video perhaps, but I'm reaching out to James Fox. Long story short, been reaching out to him. I think he even deleted one of my comments on Twitter. I don't know. I left a comment on there asking him about it, kind of some background information, and then it wasn't there. After a little bit. So, I don't know. I left it on Facebook as well. I know he lost his Twitter for a little bit. He had to get it back. But he did. Actually, I think I have my comment here on Facebook that I had left him. He never got back to me on there. But, just keep on reaching out. Maybe I can read this real quick. Back in June... After that event on June 9th, it was maybe a couple days after when you said David G, meaning David Grusch, said some stuff that left people slack-jawed. You asked him if you could talk about it, and he said no because he's going to talk about it very soon. A direct quote. But it's been a while now, and I'm just wondering if you have any updates on that, or if at any point when you feel like it's been long enough, you will come out and let us know. I also wonder who else for this information, or I think I meant to say who else was there for this information, because it doesn't seem like anyone else is hyping a discussion with David Grusch up. And as far as I know, you're the only person that said that he spoke to a room full of people that left everybody slack-jawed. So what I mean by that is I don't hear anybody else making those same comments that people were left speechless about what he saw. And by the way, in that clip, or that whole interview, it's 20 minutes long only on Redacted, he gave some pretty significant hints as to what it probably was that he spoke about. But anyway, I'll continue on here and finish it up. Doesn't sound like this information would be classified, but if he's not going to talk about it very soon, what's stopping anyone else from sharing what he shared? Would love to hear your thoughts. So what I mean by that is that it wasn't like a classified setting. Why isn't anybody else speaking about what he has said? If it really truly left everybody slack-jawed, took the breath out of everybody's lungs, they were completely speechless. I'm not saying I'm denying or don't believe what he says. I'm just, you gotta hold people's feet to the fire sometimes. Nobody else even said that he said something. So, I'm not saying that this didn't happen. I'm just trying to, keep the pressure there. Keep everybody aware. This happened. Supposedly David Grusch is going to come forward. Well, it's here. He did say he's going to... David Grusch said he's going to write something. I forgot what's the terminology for it, but that never came to be. Maybe he found a different way to present information to the public. I don't know. I'm just, I don't like it when people say stuff and they don't follow through. I remember Jeremy Corbell, a couple of Decembers ago, he said on his podcast something like, oh, it's going to be very pertinent that the public become aware of this. I think it was like the Kermit the Frog UAP, whatever it's called, Syrian Dome something or the other. And then like 2 months, he said like he gave a timestamp to it, a date, like, oh, in the next 60 days or whatever it was. And then nothing happened. He had that show come out, season 2 of something on one of those free channels or apps like Tubi, I think it was. He mentioned it just a slight bit more, but it wasn't like, it didn't match up to what he said, like, oh, it's going to be pertinent that everybody knows about this thing. So I don't know, but yeah, maybe I'm the only person that does this, I don't know, but I'm just tired of people saying stuff and then it never happens. So anyway, but let's just say David Grusch never says anything, never comes public about what he said. What's stopping from members of Congress or even James Fox himself for coming forward? Now, a lot of stuff, there's a lot of pieces to put together here. You listen to that recent thing here on Flagrant. You can see on this post here, excellent time with the boys at Flagrant. That's it. You have to listen to that. Again, putting so many pieces together with everything that's going on. There's a lot of stuff that it just seems kind of obvious where we're heading, but because he reveals some stuff in there as well. Actually, let me just play something if I have some time. Well, I better not. I really have to get going. But you can see, okay, so I asked him a much, much shorter version. When will we hear about David Grusch's slack-jawing remarks that we were promised? And he, again, says soon. Very soon. Now, that's so significant. He's saying it again. Soon. Very soon. So it hasn't been forgotten. Maybe everybody else forgot it, but I didn't. But, it's still on the agenda, apparently. He still apparently knows about it, but he did talk about how it seems like he's working with David Grusch in that episode here of the Flagrant. I don't know what Flagrant is. I've never heard this podcast before, but it's got like 2 million subscribers, if not more. But yeah, that's an excellent episode. Highly recommend checking that out. There's a lot of stuff in there. But anyway, I just wanted to share with whoever watches this that I did reach out to James Fox. He got back to me finally after a bunch of times of reaching out, and he still says soon, very soon. So yeah, let's see what, if you guys listen to the context of all this, what do you think it's going to be? I think David Grusch has claimed to have seen the biologics. Was that just through video, pictures? I don't know, but it's pretty obvious. And it does sound like it's connected to the Brazil incident too. Like if you listen to this whole episode here and the redacted thing where he talked about the slack-jawed comments, put those two together. At least there's probably more stuff, but just put those two things together, and I think a lot of it does have to do with the Brazil thing. Maybe not exclusively, just that. There's more, but yeah, you got to listen to it.